Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and peace be with you, brothers and sisters of humanity. I've been traveling, so I'm catching up with some news and some things that has been happening. And I wanted to say a few words about this picture over here, Kanye West and Candace Owens. This is truly interesting. I think this is kind of sticking it to Black people in this country or African Americans in this country, because the truth of the matter is history is riddled with Black lives not being matter. But I honestly don't remember a time in my lifetime, and way even before that, when white lives did not matter. It's easy to understand what Black lives matter is. It's a grievance issue. And all it means is that all lives do not matter unless Black lives matter. And anyone who tries to argue with, well, all lives matter, this life matter, that life matter, I mean, come on. Well, why do we play this game in America? I mean, of course all lives matter. Of course white lives matter. Why wouldn't they? But when did it not matter? And why does anyone have a problem with Black Lives Matter? Regardless of how you might feel about the organization, that's completely a separate issue. Being conservative is not something that belongs to one group or another. People from all walks of life are conservative. I am conservative. Most Muslims are conservative. I mean, we voted for the Republican Party for the most part till Bush destroyed the Muslim world. And you have a lot of Muslims going back now to the Republican Party because Muslims are naturally conservative. And there are plenty of African Americans who are very, very conservative. And I think the right wing and the Republican Party can grow their base without alienating non-white Americans. But what's interesting is these two go to Tucker Carlson, who never acknowledged the pain of Black people in this country. He always has an issue with the grievances of Black people, and especially with Black Lives Matter. And now the first question he asks is why would some people have a problem with White Lives Matter? Why wouldn't they matter? I don't know. Ask yourself the same question, Carlson. The hypocrisy. And it's not only him. It's the entire group that Ms. Owens works with. The Daily Wire people. Matt Walsh and Shapiro and all of them. I mean, ordinarily, I watch them. I think they have a lot of interesting things to say. They're brilliant minds, and I agree with them plenty. But they just cannot bring themselves up to agreeing with the pain that African Americans feel. Even though now all of a sudden their motto is all about the disenfranchising of young men in America. Plenty of people have been disenfranchised in this country for a long, long time. Case in point, Black people, especially Black men in this country. How come you've never empathized with them? Their pain never mattered. You remember war on drugs? When so many African American families were broken, so many African American men went to jail. war on drugs. There was no compassion anywhere. Then you have the opioid epidemic. Now, all of a sudden, we found compassion. We must find compassion in our hearts to help these people. It's no longer war on drugs. It's helping people, decriminalizing drugs, etc., etc., etc. So I'm just wondering, what makes the pain and the plight of one group more important than the other? Could it be that now these young men who are lost in our country are whites? So we must find compassion in our hearts to help them. Why can't we find compassion for all of our brothers and sisters? Why is it so hard for us to empathize and sympathize with the pain and sorrow of all of us? This tribalism is very ugly. But then you have these two who seem so smart ordinarily, but don't seem to understand what's happening. I'm not saying you should empathize with people just because they look like you. That's why tribalism is horrific. If you are a person of principle, then you will take side with justice and truth. It doesn't matter what party one votes for. It doesn't matter what the color of their skin is. White lives have always mattered. There was never an argument about that. I know the Republican Party, the alt-right especially, feel that they have some sort of grievances against the protective class, whether it's, minority groups, women, etc. Feminist, the feminist movement. But I find that to be so ridiculous. It's like when men claim that feminism is destroying manhood, when men are still the most powerful creatures in the world. They run the world. This is man's world. We are living in a man's world. We've always lived in a man's world. And it's still a man's world. And in this country, white Americans are still the most powerful group. They still hold the power. This is actually embarrassing. I feel embarrassed for this too. Look at them. Horrific. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching.